Hey all, Unbiased here. So this is my old PC setup. So this might look decent for most of you guys, but it contains a lot of bottlenecks which made me upgrade this setup. So the first one being the motherboard itself. So the motherboard is capped at 3200 megahertz for the RAM and I couldn't upgrade any further. And moreover, since it's an old motherboard which is B365MA, so it contains only one NVMe SSD slot and the other one being a SATA SSD slot, I couldn't upgrade to a faster SSD. So currently I have a Samsung 980 which supports up to 3.5 GB per second of transfer speed. So it can handle a lot of games, but the problem comes in when the processor is being bottlenecked with the GPU and the storage. The processor is not able to produce as many frames as possible, which my GPU and storage can handle. So in order to upgrade the storage, I would have to change the motherboard. In order to upgrade the RAM, I would have to change the motherboard. And since I am changing the motherboard anyways, might as well change the processor as well. So I went down the rabbit hole and did all the upgrades possible. So these are the component list that I went with. It's a B650 Gaming X motherboard from Gigabyte. It contains all the features I need with NVMe slots with thermal pads, 4 DDR5 RAM slots which support speeds up to 7000 MHz. And the processor of choice I went with is AMD 7800X3D. It crushes all the game benchmarks and also the rendering benchmarks. So for the RAM, I went with DDR5 6000 MHz. So I didn't go with 7000 or higher megahertz because it reaches a point of diminishing returns. So 6000 was a sweet spot for me. And since the motherboard has 3 SSD slots, I went with one more SSD for Gen 4 speeds, 990 Pro from Samsung, which supports up to 7.7 GB per second. And this motherboard also has a thermal pad installed, so it even keeps your SSD cooled. And the beast in the room is the RTX 4070 Super. I got for a very good discount since the 50 series was around the corner. So I went with 4070 Super and not with 4070 Ti or 4070, since it was only $50 of a difference, or in our Indian currency, it was only 5,000 to 6,000 difference, but with a 10 FPS difference in most games. When you see inside the box, you get some stickers and the graphic card itself. It's a twin blade design from Zotac. This is the first time I went with Zotac. Long story short, it actually delivers equal to the 3-fan GPU. And for the fans, I went with GameDeer's RGB fans with an RGB controller. I have replaced almost all the fans in my setup to match the aesthetic of my room. Let's go with some B-roll shots to show you how the entire outcome looks. And if you are some of the keen-eyed people who are looking into my setup, you can see the AIO cooler is currently turned off. It is not by choice, it is by accident because it was my last AI cooler and the RGB controller on it does not work. Do get subscribed to get more amazing tech content and help me reach 10,000 by the end of this year. Let me know in the comment section below your suggestions and ideas to improve the setup, or if you want me to cover my entire editing room as a tour as well. Thank you all for watching.